Over the past 6 seasons of Riverdale, we've seen plenty of pairings, from the ones in the original Archie comics like Veronica and Archie to complete fan-favorite remixes like Cheryl and Tony. But one of these couples has reigned supreme since day one, and that's Betty and Archie. We've all shipped Archie at some point, and if you're one of the few who haven't, keep watching to find out why you should. First up, it was always meant to be. If you're a longtime fan of the show, you'll know that Season 7 is coming this year, and sadly, it will be the last time we see it on our screens. But over the course of these 7 seasons, including a 7-year time jump in between, we've seen Betty and Archie's relationship in every possible form, from friendship to flirtationship to situationship to maybe a potential relationship. We've seen Archie go through a lot together. The two grew up as next-door neighbors, sharing plenty of tender moments from their bedroom windows in true Taylor Swift's You Belong With Me style. Betty caught feelings for Archie over the years, even spending every day tutoring him in 2nd grade so they could stay in the same class. The gesture was so adorable that little Archie kissed Betty and asked her to marry him. Betty responded equally sweetly, saying they were too young and she'd say yes if he asked again when she turned 18. How could anyone deny that the two were meant to be? A Season 4 flashback even showed them laying on the floor and listening to records together, which just goes to show how close they've been for years. Plus, the pilot of the show literally has Kevin saying that while Betty and Archie aren't dating, they are Endgame. That's a prophecy we're happy to see fulfilled. Next, fighting for each other. Betty and Archie have stayed fiercely protective of one another and their relationship throughout. When Betty's mother expressed her disapproval of Archie and tried to push the two apart, Betty made it clear that she would never stop being friends with Archie, no matter what her mom thought. Archie's protective side also came out when Jughead suggested calling Betty for a spare tire, and Archie immediately refused, saying he wouldn't let anyone drag Betty into a mess. Even when Archie was accused of murder, Betty spent her entire summer constantly working on his case, piecing together all the information she could find just so she wouldn't lose him, and fighting with each other. It's no secret that these two have been one of the most iconic duos in Riverdale, taking on every challenge together. They started off the series solving the first season's biggest mystery, the murder of Jason Blossom, and they're honored for it together by Mr. Weatherby. When the shooting happens at Pop's, and Betty learned that Archie's dad was shot, she immediately rushed to Riverdale General Hospital to comfort Archie, and he confesses that he couldn't respond or help his dad. This is just another example of how much he's always trusted Betty. Betty then takes Archie to her mother in hopes of getting details about Mrs. Grundy's death and seeing if it connects to Archie's dad being shot. Betty also tells Archie first about the Black Hood and admits that he called her. Archie immediately suggests calling the police, but as she can't because of Polly, he assures her that he'll always be at her side to help her through everything. While investigating the Black Hood and his connection to Mr. Svensson, Archie accompanies Betty to Thistle House, and they share a kiss in the car. In the plot's climax, Betty attacks the Black Hood and saves Archie, and they both chase the killer together. And that's not just the least of what they've been through together. The romance was always there. Fans and Archie shippers have always been quick to pick out every romantic moment between the pair, and there's certainly been no shortage of those. Throughout the series, we've seen that the two have had constant feelings for each other and have loved each other for years, no matter who they were with at the time. When Archie and Veronica first started dating, he openly tells her that he and Betty aren't just friends, they're best friends. Later, the whole relationship is affected by Archie's love for Betty, like when Veronica asks why Archie was looking at Betty a certain way, and he admits that there's always been something there. He mentions this to Betty as well, saying a part of him always thought they'd end up together. Archie and Betty are constant reassurances for each other throughout the show, like when Archie told her in Season 4 that he'd always be there for her, as he previously had. They both confessed later in the season that they couldn't stop thinking about each other despite being in relationships, leading to a toxic cheating storyline. But it's what was needed to progress the relationship and set the scene for the following time jump. The fake dating wasn't so fake. When Betty and Archie had to pretend to be dating to protect Jughead, they pulled it off a little too well. There was a ton of chemistry between the two, and some moments seemed to mean a tiny bit more than just an act. Like the time they kissed when they thought nobody was watching, doesn't seem like that was fake. On top of that, they essentially gave us one of the sweetest moments on Riverdale and possibly in TV history when they were rehearsing for the variety show. As the song reached a climax, a series of flashbacks of their relationship ended in a passionate kiss, which, while unfaithful, was a testament to the intensity of their feelings for each other. Betty went on to confess that some part of her had stayed in love with Archie for 10 years, leading to a sweet serenade from him. He dedicated the song to Betty, effectively ending his long-term relationship with Veronica. Archie endured. Season 5 opened with a 7-year time jump, and we see in flashbacks Jughead and Betty are also a thing of the past. This is described in humiliating and almost cruel detail through Jughead's voicemail to Betty. Ouch. However, with our faves now single, they experiment with being friends with benefits, proving once again just how much chemistry they've always had. They continue to support each other, such as when Polly went missing, Archie assured Betty that he'd always be there for her, and he wouldn't let her face anything on her own. When she officially joined the FBI, he throws her a surprise party and celebration, showing her that he'll always support her success. In an especially moving moment, he declares that he wants to try again with her, and she agrees, saying she wants to be with him too. Next, together in every universe. In an alternate universe Riverdale, Archie wakes up and describes his nightmare involving hooking up with Betty in a town called Riverdale until they found a bomb under the bed. We later see that Archie's mom wants the two to start a family together, and Archie says he wants a child sooner rather than later. Betty admits that she's been dreaming about starting a family with him since 6th grade. We think there's no need for any more proof. This relationship will definitely be Endgame. Betty also admits to Tabitha that she's definitely sure she's meant to be with Archie, not Jughead, and we agree wholeheartedly. In the aftermath of the explosion in Season 6, Betty and Archie have developed superpowers, and they agree that they have to face it together. Archie explains the situation to Betty, reeling off a list of reasons they shouldn't be together, and yet she refuses to back down. These two are definitely all in when it comes to each other, through ups, downs, twists, and turns. Lastly, Barchie Baby. When Betty is captured by the trash bag killer while she was investigating him, she didn't have access to her birth control pills, which leads her to believe she might be expecting a baby with Archie. But when she tells him, he promises that he'll stay with her no matter what, whatever she chooses to do. The pregnancy test eventually turns out to be negative, and Archie actually expresses disappointment. He only stayed in Riverdale to make it safe to raise a family in, and he admits that he was excited about the idea of starting a new life with Betty. Betty also helps Archie process the trauma of being groomed by Ms. Grundy in the early seasons. She comforts him and helps him try and overcome it, and finally, the pair move in together, basically confirming to us that they'll be together for a long time. In the upcoming final season, we definitely think that the relationship will deepen, as if it needs to get any deeper. KJ Apa and Lily Reinhardt, who play Archie and Betty in the show, have also often mentioned how much they like the idea of a Barchie endgame, and how they see their characters ending up together. We won't know until Season 7 drops in September, but until then, fingers crossed. That's a wrap for this video. Need more of the latest on Riverdale? Let us know in the comments below. Make sure to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel for more videos like this. See you in the next one.